Look who's here. Heidi Voigt, good morning.
Good morning.
Great to have you in studio.
Thank you.
Okay, this is something that's been on my mind for a long time. Showing protocol, right? There is a method to the madness.
There is, and the basics of showing a home hasn't changed. I mean, you've got a seller, they have put up a sign, and you may be working with a buyer, or I may be working with a longtime buyer, or somebody sees a sign and they call you and they want to see a property. And the logistics of it is you go into this application that we all have.
Right.
You book a time, and then the agents are sent a lockbox code to get it, and you have an allotted amount of time to go in there and look at it, right?
Yeah.
And then we give feedback, and so it's an appointment.
Sure.
Really easy.
Yeah.
Generally people want a little time. You can't just pull up in front of the house and call and think everybody's going to rush out
I'm
of there.
outside right now.
Yeah, and we get that.
I bet.
And you go, well, we need to give them a little time.
Sure.
And then, of course, there's vacant properties that you can get in shorter amount of time. But
Right.
the other protocol of this, we talked a lot about how it changed in August of 2024.
Right.
Or 20, yeah, 20. Yeah,
Some
24.
new rules and regulations.
Yeah, and that was a result of a national lawsuit that they basically wanted things to be more transparent, that buyers and sellers understood how agents were getting paid and how it impacted the transaction. Sure. So the result of that was that we needed some sort of written agreement in order to show a buyer. So when you're going to show a buyer a home, you have to have some kind of agreement with them so that they understand the process.
Okay.
And there's really 3 agreements. We've got agreements that are exclusive,
Okay.
Non-exclusive,
Right.
and then touring agreements. And the
I've never heard of the touring agreement.
Yeah, and it might be a showing agreement. Everybody calls it a different thing, but our requirements is that we have to have an agreement. And the agreement has to be signed by people, and it has to have a start date and an end date, and in some way, shape, or form, explain the process. Right?
Would the touring agreement be like open houses?
Open houses aren't really addressed in any of this, which
really?
is very,
for gosh sakes.
And the implication with open house is that the agent that's standing in there is representing the seller, right?
Okay.
So that's a different. So open houses, as a result of this, have been excellent for sellers.
What happens if you're my agent and I go to one of your open houses somewhere else? You're trying to sell my house and I just happen to wander across you somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I'm already representing somebody because I'm selling their homes, usually the conversation of how we're going to represent on the buy side have happened.
Okay.
But where we run into the really challenging part of this is, one, nobody wants to sign something when you don't know somebody, right?
True.
And the way that it's presented a lot of the time is people just say, well, you can't see the home unless you sign something. And this is where I say, stop.
Sure.
Yes, you need to sign something, but what you sign can matter.
Okay.
And I will tell you just from the get-go, what I generally use is the touring agreement. So let me explain what that is.
Yeah.
It basically is a form that says that you owe me nothing for showing you this home. This is not a commission agreement.
Okay.
And that I'm going to show you the home between these times, and this is how I'm representing you. And there is no representation. And it basically states that if you decide to proceed further with this property, we're going to have to sign a different kind of agreement.
That makes perfect sense to me.
Pretty easy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It doesn't bind you to anything. And I'll tell you, I use these with people who I am on 3rd, 4th, 5th time working with them.
Sure.
And I use them for people who are just starting out. It's not everybody's choice to do that, but that is the bare minimum of what somebody would need to see a house.
I'm kind of surprised that there's not this is the form we're going to use because we just passed this legislation.
Well, the challenge with that is that, the binding agreement, the truly binding agreement is an exclusive agreement that says, yep, we're married for a certain amount of time.
Okay.
And I'm going to do all the things necessary as an agent to help you buy a house. And you as a buyer are going to, render your commitment to me and use me as your agent. And you're not going to be able to use somebody else.
Okay.
So this is the challenge. A lot of people are signing these with people that they've never met. And they go show a house with them, and then they're stuck.
Okay. The house gets sold. how do we figure out, well, I guess you'd figure it out before you sell the house, but like commissions, right? How do you figure all that out?
Well, the commissions are embedded at this point in two different formats, mostly right into the purchase agreement.
Okay.
So a buyer's agent commission is in a purchase agreement, but an exclusive agreement or a non-exclusive agreement can dictate on that form what the agent is going to be paid by the person who is signing it.
Okay.
So that it declares like, this is my rate, and then we negotiate that rate within a purchase agreement. But if we're not able to, you're on the hook for it.
Okay.
And so that's where, when people know that and they've signed this and they're bound to this person, I know of people who have said, hey Heidi, I signed this. Does this bind me to this person? And I'm like, yeah, it does. You need to work with them at this point. And there's some level of disappointment or something with that. And usually I would imagine in most parts this all turns out relatively okay. But if you're not interested in, committing to somebody on a long-term basis, just be careful of what you sign.
I could imagine that would be like, hi, I'm brand new in town. I got to buy a house.
Yeah. Or you see something and you pop on to a site like Zillow thinking that you're just, doing something very anonymously, and you get assigned to somebody, and then all of a sudden you're truly assigned to them because you have signed a contract for a 2, 3, 6 month period.
Exactly right.
Yes.
So watch, don't sign anything you don't know what you're signing.
Yeah, well, and read it. So say or ask. I would ask the questions: what types of agreements are available for me to look at this home?
Exclusive, non-exclusive, or touring.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, within reason.
Well, once again, it makes perfect sense to me why we would work with you at VoigtJohnson Real Estate, Heidi. And how do we do that?
You can call us anytime at 320-774-2400 or look us up, VoigtJohnson.com. Got a great gallery of agents for you.
Heidi, thank you.
You bet.